Maybe I should show off my latest purchase. It's a wheel loader JCB 411 HT. And this one, like the rest of my machines, was kind of a rescue. Had some issues and was in need of a big service. I still have a few things to fix and a few oil leaks to look over. Most of that work was done in another location, and there hasn't really been time to do a video as much as I wanted lately. But I'll go over quickly what I've done, because it was I could rent a garage at another location that I could borrow, so I could do some work before it was brought back home. The main issue why I couldn't bring it home was a fuel leak. It wasn't extreme, but it was leaking both from the feed pump and the axle seals on the injection pump itself. So that one has been out and just replaced the seals on the axles. And apart from requiring some special tools and needing a lot of cleaning in the air, it wasn't that hard of a job. Still a lot of work. You need to get all the pipes off, all the connectors, everything, and then it's a cover on the front of the engine, or if it's at the back of the engine, I'm not sure how they tell front to back. Then all the fluids, the coolant in it looked really bad. It also leaked a little near the electric engine heater, so that's, since it was drained, I just replaced the O-ring on that. I later also found, because it kind of didn't wanna, it was too hot in it at all times. You couldn't get it to be cool inside it without starting the compressor for the air conditioning, and I didn't like that, so this valve here was replaced, and I could notice it was kind of a lot of play here, and it leaked a little coolant there also. All the fluids have been replaced: engine oil, axles, transmissions. The only thing I haven't replaced the fluid is the hydraulic oil. I've just replaced the filter for now. Have greased everything that's not on the central lubing system. It's mainly just the drive shafts, and also here I needed to replace some grease fittings for the bucket lock. It might leak a tiny bit from the axle going into the front, or the drive shaft going into the front axle. Here I'm missing a cover, and my dad replaced this little short hose because that was leaking from the press fitting, and it should be a cover over here. This hydraulic cylinder does leak a tiny bit. I purchased the seal kit for that, but it's not an emergency to look over. There are a few electrical things up here that I don't think I will ever use. I think it's been to some electric buckets for spreading sand, and I'm not sure what this one is about, but I plan to just leave it as is, fold it up and hide it somewhere in the front here and have everything connected. I'm not removing stuff yet, so it will be available should the need arise. My dad did a massive job here repairing the back side of this bucket for it. This is a new steel plate because it was worn out, because it's kind of a void in here, and so the hubs have a little bit of a separate oil apart from the axle. It has a little play in the lift, the front end. It also has a tiny bit of play in the middle. The door, I think, has a little bit of a twist in it. I think it's been open and been bent a little at some point, so I have a few things I want to look over. The JCB dealer that's close to me, the seller, who is also local, really talked highly of them, and they have been extremely helpful, so thank you to JCB. Only thing, most spare parts have been reasonable. The only thing that gave me a little bit of hiccups was the cabin filter. That was stupidly expensive. Also replaced the sensor for water temperature. I think at some point they had the tensioner for the belt here had broken, because I found an old leftover roll from a tensioner, so the belt maybe did a number here and did a little bit of damage to that sensor, I guess. So that was replaced, so now it shows water temperature in the gauge. So hopefully this will be a big step out compared to the John Deere for taking care of the snow this winter to start with, and also a massive help if working some with the roads back in the forest compared to the more farm tractor. This is more of a machine suitable for that, so we'll see. It will probably give me more headaches and more problems. Hopefully the electrical part keeps up, and it's just simple mechanical stuff that will cause issues. I plan to check the valves maybe somewhere later this winter, when if I halt any logging that it's too much snow for that. I might bring this into the garage and look at checking the valves, because that has not been done in many hours. I think it has like, was it 12,700 hours on it, so it's not a stupid amount. And overall it feels good. It's a bit loud in the cab, maybe compared to a similar Volvo or Ljungby, or I'm not sure what other brands we have. JCB might not be the best brand, but I think I got it for a somewhat decent price, and hopefully it will keep running for many more years. It will not get a whole lot of hours in the near future, but it will see some work if it keeps running. So that's it. Maybe all that was recorded with a little bit dirt on the lens, but I doubt I will record it again. Either I'll post it as is or I'll scrap it. We'll see.